So, bloke, describe a day in your life.
Every morning, I wake up and stare in the mirror for half an hour. I drink lemon juice for breakfast because I don't deserve water. Then I head onto Truth Social to wage war on every major news network. The world is over, our minds are corrupted, and news is obstructing the truth. I hit the sack with a frown and then sleep with the lights on.
Cool. So, President Nixon, would you like to respond?
Yep. So, in a day in my life, I work to improve America and to help fix the many problems that are plaguing our society, especially after the 1960s and the many radical movements that have occurred during the time. I have found that the loud minority has often voiced over the silent majority, and I want to appeal to the general public and to enable peace and prosperity throughout America. Additionally, I want to end the Vietnam War and send our soldiers home without losing the honor that America has.
Thank you, President. And lastly, you, Mr. Smith.
I work a job from 9 to 5, eat food, and sleep all day. Every morning I read the newspaper, and when I'm driving, I tune into the radio. Some people think of me as boring, but I just think I'm average.
So, bloke, could you please describe a time where you were reading about media coverage of an event and it was particularly biased? How did you respond to it?
Every ounce of media coverage is biased and imperfect. The human mind is incapable of objectivity. The purpose of the press has been manipulated and contorted. Now it means nothing. We are all flawed and will face the ultimate punishment in death.
Interesting, cool.
Nice.
President Nixon?
The media has always been biased against me, especially during the Watergate incident. I did nothing wrong. Everything that I have done was within my executive power to do. As the President of the United States, I am working for the good of the people. Therefore, I should be entitled to certain rights and not be forced to disclose this information to the media. The media is on a political witch hunt. Everything is politically motivated. The media is too powerful. It must be stopped.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
What's your name again?
John Smith.
John Smith?
Well, one time the media was reporting the workers' union. The audacity! They were always biased against the workers' union. Like they don't want us to rise or something. Oh, and okay, by the way, just in case McCarthy comes here, I am not communist for the record.
So, bloke, when you consume media on the internet or on print, how do you verify its accuracy?
Verifying accuracy? We can't ever verify accuracy. The process of verification itself would be inaccurate. The best attempt of verifying accuracy is simply to be doubtful. But then again, too much doubt is just as bad.
That's fair. President Nixon?
To verify accuracy, we hold a meeting with our presidential executives, and they will decide whether the information is accurate or not. Our accuracy is completely unbiased and it's completely objective. Our executives act for the best of this country, and the best of this country needs to know the truth.
Smith?
Okay, so, what accuracy? What are we even talking about here? I'm your average consumer. I've got better things to be doing than to be verifying the accuracy of news information. In fact, how about this? What if I just go to totallyAccurateNews.com and call it a day? So we're done here, right?
Thank you. Bloke, do you think that media bias is inevitable?
Yes, the human mind is flawed. The only way we can write news is to project our own agenda onto it. The only way to find news that is not biased is to write it with AI. Think that AI, you program it with the programmer's programming, but AI itself isn't sentient, and because of that, there's less capacity for it to have its own opinion, and therefore it will produce more unbiased news, but not completely unbiased news, but less biased than a human would.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. That's a pretty controversial statement. President Nixon, your thoughts?
The media is always biased because media itself is a tool that is often used to hunt people in power. The media twists the truth so that the general public turns against you. I myself experienced this. I did nothing wrong in the Watergate incident, yet the media managed to make it so that the entire public was turned against me, and I ended up getting impeached.
President Nixon, is it just you who's getting targeted, or is it like all presidents, just in general?
We are always being targeted because no matter what side you are on, you will have an opposition, and that opposition will have media that is targeted against you.
Thank you. Smith?
I think bias is always inevitable. Like, again, why do I even care? I have to consume it anyways. I don't have any business thinking about whether it's there or not. I can just look at other sources and call it a day, right? So like, bias is there, and it doesn't matter.
All right. How do you think media bias influences viewpoints on current issues?
Media bias creates a larger gap between different viewpoints. We can consider politics. All the Republicans go to Fox News, the Democrats go to CNN, and because those two stations reinforce those specific political agendas, it creates a bigger divide between them because they always disagree on issues that they think about. And that's a problem. Because society is flawed when we can't think together and we're all supporting bias.
So, do you think this creates like a positive feedback loop in any way? Where a person
what?
like if you anyway, we'll cut that part out. Like, wait, can I continue with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go.
Do you think that this creates a positive feedback loop in any way? For example, like if I'm like your average consumer, right, and say I'm Republican, I keep watching Fox News. I develop a Republican mindset. I'm like falling further and further into the Republican ideology. How's that going to like influence my thoughts and perspectives on current issues?
This is
over
the
time?
hole. You're falling deeper into the hole until you're at rock bottom, which is called political extremism. And that's not healthy for our society.
Okay, President Nixon.
Media bias tends to create multiple viewpoints even when there is only one correct viewpoint. In the example of the Watergate incident, I believe that the only correct viewpoint was the one that supported the president because I work for the good of the people. There should be no one going against me. Yet media bias ultimately led to an opposition that believed that I had supposedly done something wrong, committed a crime. And so media bias ultimately led to my downfall.
Smith?
Well, first of all, media bias is just non-existent. Like, what are you talking about here, man? I thought this was going to be a talk show. I thought this was going to be entertaining. What are we talking about here? Right? And then the second thing, what do you mean by viewpoints as in plural? It's to be singular. There's only one viewpoint.
Oh, no.
Like President Nixon said, one viewpoint, and that is the right viewpoint. Thank you.
Look, so you're a reporter. You won the Pulitzer Prize. How does your role in media affect your perspective on current issues?
As the first place contender of the Pulitzer Prize, I'm deeply invested in the media. After I won the prize, I became more enlightened and I spent more time researching the media and the different facets of it and how it impacts people. And because of my profession as a journalist, I'm very interested in how the media is ruining society and how we're all going to face the ultimate punishment.
What are some nuanced issues in the past in your career that you faced that you think would be valuable to share here on this podcast?
When I was first reporting, it was from a high school newspaper called the Interlake Inquirer. And I was fired as editor-in-chief because I did not perform my
Sorry for
duties.
laughing.
It's okay. I appreciate your kind will. And I was fired because I didn't edit, which is an issue because that's required for the job. But what I learned from that experience is that it's important to fulfill your obligations before you fulfill your passions. And that's why I've been more dedicated since then to my work and my work-life balance.
Okay, you, President Nixon, you are the president of the world's most powerful, arguably, democracy. How does your role affect your perception of media?
Being the president of America has made me realize the power that media can wield. They can bring down anyone, even someone like me, the president of the United States, even when it's unjust, even when there's no reason for them to do so. They still possess that power, and I think that makes media incredibly dangerous. And so always be wary of the media. Make sure to verify your sources, know what's going on. You can never trust them.
Smith.
So, I'm a completely objective speaker here, right? Like, my role has no influence on my perception. Completely objective, as I said, right? And like I said before, my perception is the right perception here. And anyone who disagrees with me is stupid, just plain out stupid, right? As an average consumer, my role is just to consume media. And I like staying in echo chambers where my thoughts keep getting reverberated back right at me. So, to answer this question, my role does not affect my perception of media. I am a completely neutral and objective viewer.
Neutral, you say? Okay. Next question. How has the advent of the digital age influenced your consumption of media?
So the digital age has introduced advertisements into the online news network. And the problem with this is that when before newspapers were kind of for informing and for creating good in the world, now as long as you get clicks on your article, you get money through advertisements. And that's transforming news into more about profit and getting as much viewers as possible than actually creating like important stories and informing people. And that's not good for the industry because that's corrupting it. And we need to reform it. I think we need to upheave this industry and create a new news industry that is more advertisement unhealthy.
Okay. President.
Oh, yes. The digital age has made media far more accessible for the general public. I found this out myself. They now have access to information about a wide variety of events, even those that they shouldn't even really know about, such as the Watergate one. Well, the digital age has certainly revolutionized things. Now, anyone can be informed.
Spitz?
Well, it's made my life easier for a bit. For one, I don't have to go and open my door to receive the news. I can just do a few clicks on the computer and voila, there comes the news. Second thing is there's hyper-local news stations, which means I can receive news about my community specifically, which is really helpful and wouldn't have existed in the age of traditional press. Now, with the advent of the digital age, I feel like my life has become a lot easier, mainly because I can use ad blockers, I can circumvent paywalls, in order to be able to access free news content. So with the advent of digital age, the cheaper and faster and more localized news content has helped me greatly.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on my podcast today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.